Why do feelings feel the way they do? I'm going to address this question by presenting first an argument by William James. He argued against those who would say that consciousness is just an epiphenomenon. And then he said, well, if that's true, if it's just the physical brain that does everything, it seems that things that are good for survival, like food and drink and sex, etc., could have felt bad, and getting stabbed by a knife could feel good, if that's just an epiphenomenon with no causal effect. So the fact that good feelings are connected to survival and bad feelings are not good for survival seems to indicate that qualia and consciousness has a causal effect. So this is a question also for those who would say that it's merely the physical things going on in the brain that determines everything. It seems that's compatible with good things for so evolutionary beneficial actions like eating and having sex could have felt bad. So why doesn't it? Why do things that are good for survival feel good and bad for survival feel bad? That's the question we're addressing here. So the general story in evolution is that you had early evolution with dispositions in the brain. If something big approaches, crawl down, or a rock is flying towards your face, blink your eye or duck, or if something poisonous comes into your mouth, then spit it out. And these are simple reactions where there's no need for consciousness. It just activates this area that activates this action. But when it became more complex, the brain could represent many different scenarios and many different reactions, patterns, etc. Then it was useful to generalize in the way that if you had an area in the brain representing this is good, this is something where you should approach or continue doing what you're doing, or this is bad, so you should avoid it, then various different actions that were good for survival could be connected to this general area. This is something to continue, and things that were bad for survival could be connected to this general area. This is something that should be avoided. But still, it seems that all of that could have happened unconsciously. It could just be things that were good for survival could be connected to one area in the brain that would be like a disposition. If it's active, do this, or if it's very active, do it more. It seems it could be done the way it's done in robots, etc. It didn't have to be conscious. So why is it connected to good and bad conscious experiences and feelings? That's the question. And here's what I'm going to suggest for an answer. We'll start by asking what makes a good feeling feel good. If you think of something and think about a good feeling, a feeling of happiness or feeling of joy, etc., what is it that makes it good? What is good about it? Why is it good? It seems like a strange question, and where we just want to answer, well, it just feels good. And why does bad things feel? Well, it just feels bad. That's just the way it is. It's like asking, why is blue blue? It's blue. That's what it is. But I think it's possible to say something more and explain why there is this connection between the good feelings and for evolutionary beneficial actions and bad feelings when it's not good for survival. And I've said previously that in the beginning the brain just connected to random feelings, and then different actions could have felt in all sorts of different ways. But some of those who, if there were someone who thought that actions that were good for survival also felt good, then they would do more of them. If they were connected, if these feelings were connected to their area for what is good, and those who thought it was very good would do even more. And so the idea is that it's not now it works in the way that we think that food and drink and sex is good, so we do it, and we think that being stabbed is bad, so we try to avoid it. But in the beginning, it was not like that. Then it was the case rather that those who thought that food and drink and sex, etc., was good did more of it, and those who thought it was very good did even more, and then they had more children. So it would be the case that those who found it very good, they survived. and then it would start to be calibrated in the way that, well, if you had this area and there were some people who thought these actions are very good and wanted to do them, and then the brain could maybe connect other actions that were also good survival to that area, or give it a feeling that was a bit similar, and it could adjust between what is very good for survival and less good for survival. So it could be a sort of calibration over time, which in the end then gave us the emotional life that is common today, but which is very connected to survival, and that things that feel good are good for survival, things that feel bad are bad for survival. But it started in this random way, and then adjusted based on who survived, and then got calibrated over time. So that's my suggestion for an answer of why feelings feel the way they do.